Compact phones aren't really a thing anymore, with everyone focusing on bigger, faster, stronger, better, or foldier. But there is a massively underserved market here where budget and a compact form factor are key to making a purchase decision. Now, some would think the iPhone mini would be a viable option here, but at £679 here in the UK, it's definitely not budget. And with Apple discontinuing it for their iPhone 14 models, there aren't many options available. Now, this is where the Sony Xperia 10 Mark IV comes in, weighing at just 161 grams and with a 5,000 mAh battery. And after reviewing the Sony Xperia 1 Mark IV, complicated naming structures, recently, I wanted to see what a mid-range Sony phone looks like. And as far as specs go, for this phone, it's fairly solid. At just £349 in the UK, this is definitely one of the most affordable phones I've reviewed on this channel. And if that's your budget, then this phone has quite a few reasons why this one might be the one for you, with a few caveats. Now, first up is the water resistance. It is finally something we're seeing in more and more budget phones this year, and the Xperia 10 Mark IV is no exception. You've got full IP65/68 water resistance, which protects you from day-to-day water, rain, shower, as well as a proper dunk in a pool. You've got Gorilla Glass Victus protecting that large 6-inch display on the front, and the same Gorilla Glass that we're seeing on flagships like the Pixel 6 Pro and the S21 Ultra. And something we've not seen in even a flagship phone for a while now is expandable storage. Now, as someone who takes a lot of photos, a lot of videos, and right now I'm storing a ton of that in services like iDrive, Sync.com, pCloud, and a few others as well, I'm tied into a ton of subscriptions. And to upgrade to 1 terabyte of storage on most phones would cost you hundreds of pounds. Instead, you can buy a 1 terabyte micro SD for $100 to $200 and have practically all the storage you could ever need on your phone. That's tons of space for movies, TV shows, for storing your photos and your videos, for your music, all of this without being tied into a single streaming service, like all the streaming services under the sun. And with all of those features, there's a battery that's big enough to run this phone for a very, very long time. There's even a headphone jack on top. And I just like these features where the SIM tray itself is removable without the need for a SIM eject tool with just your fingers. It's incredible. I just wish all the other phones would have that as well. Now, you also get a side-mounted fingerprint sensor on here that I've not had any issues getting to recognize me, unlike some flagships. There's a 60Hz refresh rate, and overall there is a full HD OLED screen, which provides a reasonable viewing experience when watching content. Now, in terms of the camera lenses on this phone, we've got a 8 megapixel ultra wide, a 12 megapixel standard, plus an 8 megapixel telephoto lens, and there's also an 8 megapixel front-facing camera here as well. And of course, being Sony, there are of course a ton of camera features on there as well. We've got image stabilization for a start, night modes for nighttime photography, slow motion, panoramic, and some creative effects, and of course their full manual mode setting, which just lets you, adjust all the settings as you would on their fuller DSLR cameras. And the cameras themselves are okay. So this is testing out the front-facing camera on the phone, and to be honest, once you're actually in and filming, it's not too bad. The quality looks okay, the video quality certainly looks okay. Maybe let me know what the audio quality sounds like down in the comments down below. But yeah, once you're in, it doesn't look too bad. I think it's just mainly getting into the video modes. When I hit record, I had to wait a second for it to actually start recording. When I stop recording, I have to wait a second for it to stop recording. It's those kind of things that just grind on you after a while. But for most people, if you're coming from a budget phone going to this budget phone, it's not going to be too bad, to be fair. And now this is testing out the rear-facing lens on the camera, and I don't think there's much of an issue with this. The video quality certainly seems okay. Again, let me know what the audio quality sounds like. Stabilization, if I shake around, if I'm going to shake my phone up and down, see what that looks like, because it does have in-body stabilization as well. And yeah, see what you think. They did the job, but for me, I did get frustrated with the overall performance of the phone, and particularly when using the cameras. I'm sure most people wouldn't be a big of an issue for them, but coming from using flagships like the Pixel 6 Pro, the iPhone, the S22 Ultra, which I know vastly more expensive, it was kind of annoying when switching between the ultra wide, the standard, and telephoto lenses to then have to wait that extra 1 second before the lens actually switched. I know, first world problems, but overall, the performance on the phone isn't too bad, but I noticed it way more when using the camera. So this phone, I believe, is for those of you who value a small, compact, light phone with great battery. It doesn't need to be the fastest phone, but one that's pretty okay at a lot of things. Now, actually, I saw on the website for the Xperia 10 Mark IV that this was enterprise approved, and I can actually see that being a better fit for a lot of people. For work, it's affordable, small, compact, lightweight, great battery life, and those of you who need to take photos for your work stuff, perhaps in construction or assessors, you have time to get the right photo. It's less about being in perhaps a family situation where the extra few seconds that it takes to switch lenses could miss a moment. So yeah, I can totally see this phone being a great phone for work purposes, particularly when businesses buy 50 or 100 of these phones. It's going to be a lot cheaper than buying 100 iPhones, that's for sure. As a personal phone there is very, very strong competition from the likes of the Pixel 6a, which is very, very similar in pricing. So if you want to watch that, go and watch that review over here. Thanks a lot. See you next time.